Kardashians do. Three minutes late.
The changing landscape of the housing market in Las Vegas requires a real estate professional that understands how to get your offer accepted, willing to go above and beyond for and accountability. Hi, my name is Dan French, and I'm a California native that transitioned to Las Vegas 19 years ago. I've been in the real estate and financing industry for over 13 years. Most real estate agents struggle with answering their phone, returning phone calls, and overall structure running a solid real estate business. Many of my competitors do not have the knowledge of how to write solid offers to legitimately have your offer looked at, and they work with a commission-first mentality. I will roll up my sleeves and work hard to find the right home for you regardless of the time it takes. Please call me directly 702-557-6176 to start the process of finding the right home for you. I'm available 7 days a week for all your real estate needs.
Dan's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
And everybody, welcome. This is Dan French. This is the French Workbench podcast here on a Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. And we have a full studio. It's Taco Tuesday here. And
where's our tacos then?
I don't know, man. Brett was supposed to bring in a bunch of tacos.
Forgot. Instead.
Oh, forgot.
You like Taco Bell or Del Taco?
Right?
Ew.
Del Taco. I go high end.
What's going on, guys? So let's talk a little bit today. We have a full studio of people here that are familiar faces. As always, we're going to go across the room and introduce everybody as we do. If you guys don't know this show, this is the most real behind-the-scenes information regarding financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs going on in Las Vegas here. I'm your host, Dan French. Let's go ahead and introduce my co-host, which is Bret Jenny. What's up, buddy?
What's happening, Dan?
What's up, buddy? How's things?
It's cold out today. What's with this wind and freezing?
Dude, it was Mad Max out there today, wasn't it?
Mid-70s last week, and I'm walking in here with my winter coat on like it's 30 degrees or something.
Dude, Vegas is just so unpredictable. It's like you got Mad Max weather where this, looked like a windstorm, right?
It's
bunch
that
of
wind.
Dirt.
That's ultimately what.
And then it started to rain sideways, on my car, and then it stopped after I went. Yeah.
Remember 3 years ago when we had that snowstorm?
Yeah.
3 years ago, like I think a day or two ago. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a lot of snow.
Driving through downtown Summerlin, seeing snow on all the palm trees.
Yeah.
Now I'm from Tahoe, and I remember that day because the Clark County School District shut down, but they shut down the day after.
You want to know why? Do you want to know why?
That's Las Vegas.
Slipped or
because
something.
I asked, I'm like, what's the deal? I'm taking my kids to school, and there was like 6 inches of snow in Summerlin.
Yeah.
And they said that the next day they actually shut down because of the ice, and with the buses, it was an issue. That's why they did it. It was an ice issue the next day.
So if you guys don't know who all these people are talking, we're going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Joe Dragon. He's back. What's up, buddy? Is that a poncho?
It is a poncho.
Man, I didn't know you wore
I told
ponchos.
you for the show. I wore that in the 80s, man.
The poncho?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So did you seek out a poncho? How did that work
No,
out?
I was down in not Long Beach.
It matches
Tijuana.
his hat. That's
One of those beaches like Newport.
What were you doing at Tijuana?
I can't remember.
Huntington. I was in Huntington
Donkey
Beach,
show.
and they were selling it on the street.
Huntington,
I missed the
Tijuana, same thing.
A little
No,
different.
You just said, did you visit the donkey show?
I didn't say
No,
that.
that's south of the border.
That's what Brad said.
South of the border.
So anyways, what's been going on with you, man?
Nothing. Like I said, I was in Huntington Beach over the weekend for President's Day. It was about 68.
Yeah.
But a little kind of below that threshold beach.
Absolutely.
With the family, it was good.
Nice.
Tacos.
Yeah.
Taco Tuesday. Yeah. So you got over here, we got, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Corin. What's going on, Corin?
Hi, Dan.
What you doing, Corin?
Well, I got happy today, even though I'm cold as F. So, got my listing, multiple offers. We're in contract as of 5 minutes ago.
How long was that on the market for?
We went on the market Thursday, We didn't have showings until Saturday and Sunday during the open house.
Okay.
By the way, we had like 50 groups going through the open houses Saturday and Sunday. It was awesome.
You knew it was selling then, didn't you?
I knew. So,
How many?
so I have some pretty pissed off buyers agents at me right now. So
Yeah, well, that's
I'm not nice.
Nature of the beast right now, man.
I know it.
You
I'm sorry. You know what? I'm on that shoe tomorrow as well. I'm not wearing that.
How
shoe
many offers did you get?
More than one.
There you
Joe,
go. So
that's
it's
what
still
it's called.
it's not illegal
Over
to
list price.
Multiple O's, Joe. Multiple O's.
gotta get the lingo
More
down.
than one.
Multiple offer scenario, Joe. If you say it like that, you
Multiple
sound
O's.
professional. Go ahead.
Yes.
You guys correct me.
And
No
just
more
so
to
you
add.
know, everything's legal as long as it's disclosed.
But you guys do know he's got more education than probably all of us. He's an attorney. I can't vouch for that.
sure.
Yeah.
For
So,
sure.
Something like that.
Joe,
I
Dragon up
I
there.
paid off the professors.
That's just thing. Also, we have our guest of honor here, and
Finally.
the lady pretty in green today.
Yeah.
Shannon Miller wants to have the center of attention. I'm going to give this to her.
You know what? Don't act like no. Don't act like Shannon was like, oh, you put me on the schedule today.
Came in with her diva self.
Yeah, I'm bougie. Give it. No, don't play with me.
Shannon was coming in like, is it my day? Is it my turn?
That
I'm
is
like,
not-
yes, Shannon, it's your turn, Shannon.
Just so you guys know, Dan's a fat liar.
Stress the word fat.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say you got a fat, round stomach. I was like, well, she's pretty onto something. On
I
that one.
mean, I wasn't going to say that out loud. It's so rude.
Well, it's facts or facts. Just any place. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. It's all
Let's
going to
do
be
it.
about
What's that?
feminine products throughout the show. I'm just playing.
We're going to keep our viewership for sure. See all the men
There
jumping
blows the first hour meeting we had.
So anyways, let's talk about what we're going to discuss. So we're going to talk with Shannon about business consulting. Corin's going to jump in and talk about what's going on in real estate with Bret, and also some topics that she has with business-related topics. And we're going to talk with Mr. Joe Dragon over here about some stories that's gone on with real estate here recently. So,
Real estate. Yeah,
I mean, law. Sorry,
Law.
real estate law.
we're going to talk about the illusion of the bulldog attorney.
The illusion. Real estate law. So let's talk a little bit real quick with you, Joe. We're going to talk with Shannon, but encompass in like a very short sentence or stanza, if you want to call it, of what you really do and why, I guess, what your profession is. Go ahead.
It's two things. Either I am preventing potential damage and issues you may face, or I am trying to mitigate the damage that you created by not talking to me to begin with. So that is the two things that I do.
I may have a client for you.
cool.
In that very
Which
same
category?
Situation. Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, the second category is where you make all your money,
Yeah.
but I do my absolute best to keep people out of that category.
Exactly. It's in
And-
our contract, actually.
All I can do is advise. So
Yeah.
whether
It's in
people
our-
listen or not,
Yeah.
So
That's on
if
you.
you guys don't know, Joe's on here. Pretty much, he's been on here a lot of times, but I think a lot of people kind of get misled a little bit that he's on here, but he does real estate law. He's not a real estate agent. So I wanted to bring that up.
no. I handle the problems that if
That realtor's cause.
escrow, right? Let's say something
just-
went wrong with escrow. Let's say you have a lien title problem that happens on the back end. That's what real estate litigation encompasses.
Gotcha. So let's talk with Shannon. So Shannon, here's what's going on. Shannon came to me and us as something that was an asset to the show, just like Corin is. And they brought she's bringing all of her insight and her
I brought all
knowledge.
my assets.
All your assets showing today.
You said we have men viewers.
Hey, listen.
You know, ladies like to look at that too. Just
Well,
saying.
Sold.
Go ahead, Brett.
No.
I don't know what we're talking about.
No, you say.
So she's a true asset and has assets for the show, and that's what I was trying to say. But when you're talking about business consulting,
Yeah.
all right, and you're talking about going out there, how did this all get started?
Gosh. Okay. So do you want the whole story? Is that
Yes.
what you want?
No, I want the half story.
Okay. So honestly, it started.
75%.
So okay, I'll give you 50%. There's a chance. Be careful what I say around Joe.
Don't worry, he's not getting paid. He
no.
doesn't give a shit.
It started.
I don't
Honestly,
just sue people with the fun of it.
I actually started off in the corporate world as soon as I was working full time when I was 15, and moved into the corporate world as soon as I turned 18.
So when you were 15, what type of work were you doing?
Oh gosh, I did everything, but I always ended up not everything, but I started off. Do you guys remember Fazoli's?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's
Cookie?
Fazoli's.
Isn't that a cookie?
No, they're like pasta, like cheap ass pasta.
It was like a drive-through fast food.
They had
pasta
breadsticks,
place.
a bunch of breadsticks. My
And
wife loved that.
She
She did, dude. When I first started dating her.
And honestly, this is where I started realizing really quickly that I just naturally am a leader, and I like to teach people and train people and support people in their growth. And I was like 16, and I was their team trainer at Fazoli's.
Wow.
I got to wear the white shirt. It was
I
really
have some
cool.
new agents to throw your way.
Yeah. So, but as soon as I turned 18, I went into the corporate world. I actually worked I worked for a major health insurance company, started at the bottom, worked my way up, and was an operational trainer for an entire department. So I ran like 6 to 8 week courses to train the entire incoming staff on all the systems tools, Medicare, Medicaid, all the government rules. And I learned really quickly that I freaking hated corporate.
Yeah.
Like, you guys, I am the worst corporate employee ever, because I'm like, wait, my kid has a doctor's appointment. I should be able to go do what I want. But I'm still going to work. But I wanted that flexibility in my life. And so I had an opportunity. I had gone and, worked other places, but I ran medical practices, and then had an opportunity to open up a medical weight loss practice with my ex-husband. And built a concierge medical weight loss practice here in town, which obviously helped building that business from ground up and understanding what is the foundational things, and then what can you do, to build upon that and strategize next steps. Then also from there, built an online health and wellness business. Ended up with when I walked away from that business, I had about 15,000 customers. And within that, I had a team of people. And so I learned in that, my skill sets are to help strategize and lift people up. This is your business. What are you looking to do? What's the next chapter look like in growth? How do we strategize that? And then also too, helping people with their social media marketing, personal branding, which is massively important, especially if you're an entrepreneur or independent. And then there is a lot of life coaching that goes on. I think all of us can agree at this table, getting to know everybody, that your business will never outgrow you. And that is a part of it. It's really developing the person and being there for them and kind of breaking through barriers wherever they're at. And then I'm naturally just an extrovert, and I love people, and I know who needs to know who. And so a lot of what I do within the business is also the connecting point. And so that's why my business is literally SM Consulting and Connecting.
I think people underestimate the power of that.
Right.
Oh,
They have no idea.
Of connecting and just being out there. And I think you said to me one time, people don't come to you for specifically what you do. They come to you because you provide, hey, you need a plumber, you need a babysitter, you need a mechanic,
They call me for
and
everything.
you're the point that they come to, and because you're the reference that they point to, you're a control point at a certain
right. And so what happens is, say somebody comes on to do individual consulting with their business. Part of that comes with, so who is the clientele that we get to find? Are there potential team members that we need to bring on, and who would be the right staff? What about investors? I have a group right now that I've been discussing, having a couple investors come in on their business. So those are parts of it. And connecting is huge. People don't, and you're right, people don't understand how important that is. And especially for people that are building in the business, when you're building your business and your expertise, you don't necessarily have the time to go out and do that. And so when you bring somebody else on that has that connection, those connections in town or out of town, or actually has I don't know how else to describe it outside of, I know people.
They associate you with the go-to point when they want anything done. And as long as you're the go-to person that they associate with, that gives you a certain amount of control, or at least in the know of what's going on. And just by connecting people, they associate that back to you. So, of course.
I was just doing it earlier just for a friend. I'm like, I know who you need to talk to. And they ended up, and I obviously wasn't in the deal, but I was like, you know what? Who you're talking to, where you're going, I think that this group, within that group, is perfect for you, and they signed on today.
So let's talk about some of the things that you deal with. Obviously, you know a lot of people, you connect a lot of people. So take me through the challenges of getting started, because I think a lot of people say, well, I want to do something like that.
Yeah.
Getting started with what?
Wait.
Just to clarify, starting a business?
Just starting your own business. How long did it take before you really started to get off the ground a little bit with your business?
Honestly, I think the biggest hurdle that I see people have, and where people actually become business owners versus those who talk about it, are the ones that are willing to jump in when they're not ready, because you're never going to be ready.
Yeah,
that's true.
You're literally never
That's
ready.
some of the best advice that I learned a while ago that I find absolutely true.
I was sitting
You're
on a
never
plane.
ready, just jump in.
I was sitting on a plane headed to California on Friday, and my butt, of course, ends up chit-chatting with a guy next to me, and he's in business and in the IT world, and I started talking to him, and he says, you know, I've been thinking about going off on my own. And I go, really? I go, well, what's holding you back? He goes, well, you know, I want to get maybe a little bit more capital, and I want to do this, and I go, listen, you're never going to be there.
Yeah.
You either jump in or you jump out and you stay in your job. That's up to you. But that's really the defining difference. And even with me, it's, are you willing to jump in? Because if you're not willing to jump in, I don't know what to tell you, you're not going to make it in business then, because it won't start.
You know, life's
it
not
won't launch.
perfect. There's no perfect starting point.
No.
There's no perfect starting point.
Honestly, even for me, when I started this, I was probably at the hardest point. Right? Like, I was, okay, put your head down and go. And it was either make it or break it. And so I think sometimes that is like, if you have that personality where you want to start a business, you have to have that make it or break it. Like,
So
be willing to put your feet in
Well,
the fire.
you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
No
basically.
joke.
You know?
Yeah.
And let me back up for a second, because sorry about that. I missed some stuff because Dan was having me zoom in on his lovely face.
Yeah, Dan is all over the place if
I
anybody
know.
missed that.
He's you guys, it's hard to focus.
He was, like,
He's
orchestrating
moving
a studio
around.
here
I'm
while-
like, what's going
Well,
on?
we got to get his face. But yeah, all right. So I heard you were working for corporate. You didn't like corporate, and then you started your own business. When did you leave your corporate job, and that's when you immediately started your own business?
So I left corporate, I think I was, I've been independent working for myself for the past 8 years.
So 2014?
You're better at math than me. I don't know, you guys.
He went to law school, so.
Yeah, like you did math. Yeah, I was like,
Just
I
what
think
math?
it was like 27, 26, 27, somewhere in there. Yeah, and it was scary. It was scary as hell, because it wasn't just, starting an online business. It wasn't like, I'm selling e-commerce online and there's no skin in the game. And we started a medical practice.
Okay, with
That was
your
no
with
joke.
your ex-husband,
Yep.
right? And so that was your client basically at that time, and you took what you learned from the corporate world as far as business and you applied it. Today, like, what's your typical client? Like, as far as, is there a typical business, or is it all businesses, or?
I deal a lot in the medical community.
Okay.
Also real estate, the mortgage world, dentists, and then a lot of
Dentists. I know so
I know,
many
I
dentists.
know, I know. And
My
but
dad's dentist, best friend's dentist. I had way too many dentists. Anyhow, continue.
send them my way. I will help
Let me
them.
see your teeth.
Thank you so much.
good.
They are.
Never had a cavity.
Smile. Let's see it. There it is. There it is.
Was it good?
Such a pretty
It was
smile.
good. But also a lot of independent. So people that are trying to build online businesses. And also, I'm really good with network marketers, because I know how to build teams. So
Network marketers, okay.
Yeah, because if you think about it, even think about real estate. You think about a real estate agent that wants to build a big business, they need a team, right? It's the same exact setup. All of it is. Like most businesses, if you look at it, it's the same setup. And it's learning how to train your team and how to break them through their own barriers, and also build them personally, and then also teach them their own marketing, because when they build their brand, it's attached to yours as well. And then
Right.
you're also building in that attachment to your business.
So let's say
Real
this.
estate is a network marketing company.
One-
Keller Williams is a network marketing company.
100%.
Let's say this. Do you work with any attorneys or anything like that?
I mean, I have consulted in the past.
So
but
you're open to something like that?
Yeah, I do like attorneys. But I mean, I do and I don't.
Well, that's just because what I.
I'm just kidding.
Say
I
that
don't.
again.
That's just because what I do. But I'm just trying to get some information for listeners here. Like,
Yeah.
if I called you up tomorrow and said, "Hey, Shannon, got this law firm and I need some consulting," what would be your response? What
My
would
response would be, okay, so what are your goals? Like, what are you actually looking to do? Why are you seeking out consulting? Because if you say, well, because Shan, I want to better my investments and I want to grow that, I'd say, okay, well, I have somebody for you. That's not me. This is what I do. So for me, it would be very specific on the person. So if you call me, I'm going to ask you, what do you want to do? Well, I want to grow my business. I need help with marketing, or I want to help my team grow, build a better culture, create systems and tools for my team, those kind of things. Then I can do that. But it really depends, and that's the interesting thing with what I do in business consulting, because every industry is different. they're all coming from a different place and time. Some are just starting, some are 5 years in, and they're like, all right, this is what I want to do. This is my next step. How do I get there?
What's your perfect, I mean, there's not a perfect client, but what is your perfect person you work with? Like, who's somebody that you see, like, name the person or the business owner or somebody that's starting a business that went to you and said, hey, I need help with understanding how to run this business properly, that you really just changed their whole perspective on things. Like maybe their business is doing a lot better.
It's not a particular industry, but my favorite is when somebody comes and it's not necessarily startup. I really enjoy it when somebody's starting to build a team and now it's okay. Now, how do I really teach my team, myself and my team to move forward? How do I build culture? What does that look like from a marketing perspective, right? Because your business, like in order to really capitalize and really to make a substantial business, and most of us get into entrepreneurship because we want more time freedom and we want to make money, right? Hopefully. Hopefully you're looking to make money.
Well, I just do it because I don't like having a boss.
I mean, yeah, but that's exactly it. And so it's okay. So now, how do we develop your team? That's my favorite client. Is somebody that comes in that has established their business to an extent. They've started bringing people in. Now, how do we expand that, and how do we grow those people alongside growing you and your business?
Well, I want to say one thing. So I was reading something the other day, and it was people lost connection, or there's a lot of people that are younger generations, business owners, that we all know school's the number one thing. Everybody pitches like go to school. It doesn't mean you're going to make money, but there was an article that said, hey, maybe you go for a trade, right? Maybe you go do a trade. Now, there's a lot of people like us that are business entrepreneurs, which is great, and that's what the show's about. Do you feel that there's a lot less people wanting to really get their hands dirty or go the trade route and become more business owners or entrepreneurs? Because I feel that there's a lot of influence that going and doing a trade or doing a specific job, unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, why do you want to go to school? Like, you know what I mean? So is there a lot of people that are coming to you because they don't want to have the person over your shoulder that's a boss? They don't want people that, you know, hey, I don't want to have somebody where I can only go as far as this job's going to take me.
Right.
I want to risk something. And I feel that that's kind of being promoted more.
Yeah. Well, no, 100%. I mean, 100%. I mean, you think about it, I think especially the millennial generation is when it really started transitioning. It was like this, wait, why am I going to work 8 to 5? I don't understand.
I mean, if you look at it, it's like, to me, it's like all the more power to them, because what they're getting away with or being able to do right now, it's not that we wanted to do that and that we didn't want to be able to have to do that either, but we didn't have a choice. Well, these kids have figured out a way. They figured out a way.
Zuckerberg, Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard Business School, and
so
and if you look at it, if you look at today's day and age, a lot of those trades, those get your hands dirty trades, they're being replaced. It's not human.
Yeah, but who's actually replacing them? Is it people
machines, electronics? There's I mean, think about it. Think about even money. We're talking about crypto on here. Like, it's all being replaced. It's all growing and changing. And so it's finding those new industries.
That's all tokens are on the exchanges. Is the tokens are the actual utility that make the physical work that needs to be done for that whatever's being done for that action. So instead of a human doing it, the computer program is doing it, and you get the reward from the token from the computer program doing it, not your pay.
Yep.
Same thing. It's a computer replacing work.
Where I come in is the argument is this, is that there is some values, though, that come with going out and trying to get your own business going, right? Look, I used to put, I never forget it. I used to go and put things together with my uncle or my dad or something. My dad used to take me to work. He was an entrepreneur, self-employed, right? Did his work. He was a sign painter. Hey, you know what? Even though you didn't want to wake up on a Saturday, whatever it was, you still learned from the fact that you're still working for yourself. But I feel that there's value in going and doing a hard labor of work, at least some point in your life, right?
I agree with you. And I think and it's funny because, I'm a single mom of 2 boys, and, something that I have tried to instill, which has been difficult because I'm a single mom, like lady over here,
right?
Is to instill
everybody out there. She's single.
I'm super single, beyond single. But one thing that built me, honestly, one of the things, and I agree with you, Dan, because one of the things that built me and my dedication and my work ethic and me waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and hitting the gym every single day and then going to work all day and being the last one down at night is the fact that my dad growing up, he let me be a girl and the girl, right? And I was a competitive cheerleader. I, did all the things. I dressed up, I did my makeup, but I also was the same girl that rode dirt bikes and street bikes and quads. I changed tires. I did yard work with my dad. I mowed the lawn. I edged with scissors until they let me use the edger. Yeah, you see the fingernails. But I think there's so much value in that. And I think the trade part, like coming into adulthood, I think a lot less people are excited about that now, but we're also in a different network of people. But I think there's so much value in us instilling that in our children.
Right.
If that answers your question.
Yeah, it does.
I'm trying to do that too.
Right. What were you going to say, Bret?
My brother owned a plumbing business in Wisconsin. And he cannot find
29 minutes.
He cannot find anybody, any apprentices.
Yeah.
And
it's really hard.
So long and short of it is, speaking of the trades, I mean, he started plumbing when he was 18 and then started his own business about 15 years ago. And he just sold his plumbing business for a little over $1 million. And the guy's going to pay him $200,000 a year to just supervise everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there's the trades for you.
I'm going to be a plumber in my next life.
The dude's 48 and he's retired.
I think it comes back, and I'll let you, but it comes back to you start off with something, and if it's too easy, then I don't know if you respect it or you value it as much, right? And I don't know. You don't. Just like you had to go to school. I mean, look, you're an attorney, but the whole grinding it out doesn't mean every school's going to make you money. And I think everybody goes to school, I think, primarily for, they like what they do, but they also want to make money. I mean, you got dentists and attorneys and people. Let's be honest, it's about money. I mean, it's not all about money, but I'm going to say 80%.
The standards, that's why there's far more realtors than there are attorneys.
Well,
because realtors don't have to go to school for 3 years.
Entries of barrier.
Exactly.
A business term for it.
Well, and that's the same thing. You think about starting your own business, and even with consulting, if you don't have skin in the game, then it's not going to be important to you. And even if you look at a lot of people that are starting these online businesses, right? They don't have skin in the game. You start this business, I show up a little bit every day for an hour. Of course, you're not going to make a ton of money, and of course, you're not going to build a team, and of course, you're not going to retire on it, because there's just nothing there to push you through it.
Right.
And I know even for me, having those moments of going, well, shit, I better frickin' grind it out. Like I just laid down a bunch of money and invested into my business or myself so that I could grow.
It forces you to work.
It does. Yeah. I think I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, Joe, you have something to say about it or no?
About what we just talked about?
Yeah. Okay, you were about to say something.
I want to ask Shannon a question, but as far as skin in the game goes, I thought about this a second ago. Is when I started my own business. A lot of it, you got to offer discounts and all this stuff, try to get clientele, which is true, starting and whatnot. But then as you grow, you realize that you are doing not only yourself a disservice, but you're doing your client a disservice if you do not charge the appropriate amount. And it all has to do with skin in the game. You talk about grinding. Law school was grinding. I grind every day with every case, and it's about pulling apart every single detail. If you're paying me pennies, there's no skin in the game.
Yeah.
So I do both those clients and the service, and I always say if they're not willing to pay, I'm like, we can't form this relationship. And it goes more than just, yes, I'm making money off it, but that is an important part of that business relationship. It just is.
Well, and as a business owner, if you're not charging the appropriate amount, you don't respect your clients anyways. You can't. They become a frustration. You don't enjoy what you're doing.
No, that's a good point.
I've had business owners that have come, okay, this is the next chapter of the story I want to go. And I'm like, when's the last time you raised prices? They're like, well, it's been like 4 years. I'm like, what? 4 years? But you've built this skill set and you've gotten better and better and better. You're an expert. Now you've added this and you do this and you do that better than your competitor. Why are you not charging more? Because the right clients will come. The right ones will come and it'll be worthwhile and you'll actually enjoy what you do.
But see, they built that craft to do it on their own. And you look at what's online right now. There's a lot of flash. What is the biggest thing you see with, like you said? And we're not trying to center millennials. We're just saying younger generations, because they grew up with having controllers in their hand. Maybe they have computers, and they really don't. They have more things at their fingertips, right? It's easier. I think it's an easier life for somebody younger at this point versus say somebody that was a little bit older.
I disagree with that. And I think it's just different. It's a different hard. You know what I mean? Like, think about it.
I agree with you.
Our kids think, my kid, like, I think my oldest, when he was in like 4th grade, he's like, I'm going to be a YouTube star like that guy. I'm going to make millions. I'm like, okay, so do you, and I remember saying, do you understand though what it takes for that person to do that? It is a lot of work and skill. Like, this did not majority.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say is a lot of people are saying they want that one hit wonder. It's
Right.
like, it's like getting that
Okay.
that song that hits. You know, hey, I'm gonna make it, and I'm not gonna have to work anymore. And
Okay.
and all those things that we talked about. It's like, and I'm not saying that everybody's like that, but the mindset is, look, you get a lot of people online. I'm flipping properties. Look at me. Sign up with me. Invest with me. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It's all flash, right? But show me your portfolio, right? Show me what you've really done. Give me 3 or 5 names of people that have actually you've invested with, and you can show that they have that bottom line that you made them $2 million.
Right.
Right. And Shannon's saying is when you do show them that, then that is your craft, and you should charge appropriately for that craft once you've established it.
But that's what I'm saying is that that's completely correct. What I'm saying is that person had to take time to get there, where instead of just getting there from 0 to 100, it took time, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, so when you said, do you think it's easier for kids now, that those younger generations, to make money? I don't think so. I think it's just different.
Not easier to make money. It's just they want to make it easier. Like they want it done. Like they want life.
Well, that's because
quick.
they're young and they don't know any different.
Yeah.
I wanted real quick money for doing nothing when I was young too.
Me
and then
too.
life hit me and I realized it doesn't work that way. They just haven't had life hit them yet.
Would you agree that these people, though, these younger generations, have the ability to actually do that, though?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at
Yeah, for
YouTube,
sure.
you look at all these things, you got online businesses.
Absolutely they do.
You got millionaires that are selling stuff and, toys and all kinds, right? I mean, so maybe because the mindset is, oh, these other people have done it and it's easy, maybe I can do it, but it's not always easy. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I agree with you. I mean, there are those, it's just what you see. Like, when we all understand this, like, we know each other, right? But we don't really know each other.
Oh, I know Bret very well. Very well.
That's
He's
scary.
always up in mine.
Okay, so should we get into the personal
Business.
details, you guys? Are we going to open up here?
You see my jockey brace all
I
around.
mean-
No, I was saying we hang
Please
out
don't.
sometimes.
But I think it's
The Rock, you know you love
it's
it.
a part of education, and that's part of what I do too. Is like when you have a young person, a young entrepreneur that wants to start something, it's going, okay, well, here's what it's going to take though. It takes this, and I'll tell you what, I know immediately the ones that are going to be able to make money,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
the
ones that are
thing.
going to fail, because they're either willing to invest and they follow through, or they're not. They're the ones that don't call you back, then they call you in 6 months, and
So
you're like, oh, you're still
I
waiting.
agree with you, because as much as life is set up for them to be able to make money easier in a sense, at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that winners always win and losers always lose, no matter where you're at, no matter what situation, and that's the way it's going to be till the end of time.
Yeah.
Amen.
So what are some
He
of
just
the
prayed.
what are some of the
That's
challenges these
my
like, where do
soapbox.
they fail? Like, where do these businesses typically fail with you, or just starting the relationship? Is it hard to gain that trust, and where do they fail?
Trust wise, no, because typically if somebody comes and works with me, you probably already know, like, trust me, like we've already built some sort of a relationship, or you've been referred by somebody who knows me. So that's not typically an issue. And it takes a conversation to know whether or not, and I won't take on a client that doesn't work well with me. If you don't vibe with me, then I'm not going to take you on just for the money, because that'll make me miserable too. But as far as,
Well, I'm sure they could offer you a certain sum that maybe,
wait.
$500K maybe.
Okay.
slide
I mean,
on that
everyone can
road.
be.
All right.
Let's not kid ourselves.
All right, cool.
Let's not kid ourselves. Everyone can be bought.
Yeah, I mean, but like
I got your point. I got your
normal
point.
circumstances, I don't know about you, Joe, though, but
Well, I can be bought, right?
Can you?
I
What's
can
your
be
price
bought.
point?
I don't know. It's very, very high, let me tell you.
That's right.
But
Hell
what
yes.
was the second part of that question?
I just think where do people fail? Because they come to you and they're saying, well, I want your guidance, and then it's hard to win over that trust, and then they obviously failed before. They just never got started before. Why?
Well, it's not.
Why do they need you?
It's not necessarily a failure. That's not necessarily what it is. It's wanting growth. It's saying, okay, so I've made it this far. Okay, so this is what I want moving forward.
Yeah.
Now, how do we strategize that?
right.
How do we, you know what I mean? So, but when we talk about failure, it typically stems from somebody who is really unwilling. They say that they want something, but they really aren't showing up for it. They don't show up on the daily. They're not willing to follow through on the task. They always have a rebuttal for everything.
They're a hypocrite with themselves.
Right, or saying like, "Oh, I don't feel comfortable doing marketing."
So,
and you're like,
what would you define as failure then? We use this word a lot. We use success. We use failure.
Right.
We don't really ever actually define.
Well,
So
I
what
think
that's a good point.
In my head, failure for me personally, what I consider to be failure is when you want to grow and move on to a next chapter, you fail if you choose not to show up and actually follow through, or at least try. Like that's how I see it. It's not necessarily, oh, I didn't make the $1 million that I said that I wanted to make this year, and I only made 500,000. That's not a failure, right? Even if your business sinks and you go bankrupt, but you get back up on your feet and you keep moving.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's not a failure.
So we're hitting the same wavelength. I mean, I would define it as, I think it's same words, different way. As failure only happens if you quit.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about examples of people not trying, well, they're quitting.
Right.
They're quitting. And that you will get this, in my experience, that maybe you don't hit the goals immediately when you want to hit the goals, or maybe your goals were too, advantageous. But it's a matter of every time you do that, you learn. Failure is the biggest teacher that you can ever have.
I think failure is how you spin out of it. Right?
Yeah.
Well, so do you take it as something to grow and I'm just getting started and I've learned from it and move on to the next one, or is it something that just ruined me?
It's only a certain percentage of people that take failure that are quote unquote failures in life, right? And then actually take it and it gives them that trajectory to the next level. But there's a mass majority that don't. They let themselves sink and they don't follow through.
That's most people.
Well, listen,
That's quitting,
and what he brought up was a good point. It's not saying that people don't hit that one hit wonder. It's more about you have to fail at something a little bit to get the reward, right? And it's like, if anybody that goes through a success story that says, oh, well, I started a bunch of businesses, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm killing it. Everything's about killing it, but they don't have any real like failure stories or stories where they struggled or had to go through adversity.
It's called life.
Right.
I would say they're about ready to have a shitstorm hit them because no one gets out of this world for free.
Or it's fake. It's fake. I think
what I
it's
would
just
say.
it's all hoopla, right? Like
No, there's this one. I watch.
I guarantee it, man. It's going to happen.
I watch Instagram reels for hours when I can't go to sleep, and there's that one, I forget who he was, where he says success is like, when you're pregnant. Everybody congratulates you, but nobody knows how many times you've been effed.
Yeah.
So,
and do you have to really like promote it?
I was going to say penis later.
I
but
have
you
not-
said F word.
I have never heard that.
It was great. I love that.
Well,
It's like, but
let's
it's
go
like
back.
Congratulations, you're pregnant. Nobody knows how many times you've been.
Well, that's not a failure. That's fun.
Exactly.
Sorry. Oh,
Right. Hey,
so sorry.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
all
it's
right.
business.
It's all
right.
right.
Failure, success.
But you know what? Here's a good example of what I'm trying to talk about. So let's say you got like these guys, Grant Cardone and people. They kind of promote or like flash. They got these private jets or they got all these people or you know what I'm saying? Like, is that okay?
No, I gotta know.
And the thing is, it's like, do you really got to promote that?
Well, here's the thing. You got to think about your market, and you got to think about what he's selling, though. Yes, he has to do that. But Grant also, if you actually listen to him speak, he tells his story, and he talks about being rock bottom. He talks about being in freaking rehab.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying people will know and gravitate if you can show by example.
But
you don't have to flash.
He is selling something. He's selling hope. And dude, that's the best goddamn sale in the world.
Exactly.
It works every time.
I don't know. For me, I don't think I would buy off on that. I don't know. It's just
dude.
me.
He's selling hope.
But it works for his, and you have to,
Absolutely.
and that's the thing is that and that's why even in consulting, it's okay. So who is your target demographic? What are you selling? And then how do you market it?
Yep.
And there are certain markets that, that is a part of you getting your name and brand out there and selling whatever you're selling. Like Grant has to do those things. Otherwise, why would you go invest with him?
To me, I think it'd be more effective if not you, Grant, or whoever, but this is my client and he has his own private jet because of my service. Just as way as you
right.
have. That's
Seriously,
right?
Think about it. Like, look where I got this business owner. I helped them
right.
strategize.
Yeah.
Look where they're at
Exactly.
now. Now they're flying on their private jet. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I put that out
And
there?
how many of those people? I want to hear about. Yeah, what is the ROI if I pay you $5,000 a month for this weekly Zoom
Think about
meeting with you?
Even if you build a team, let's say you're in real estate, right? And you build a team and your people start making a lot of money. Yeah, you should shout that out because then you're just helping promote bringing in more agents.
not you yourself. It's like, great, the best team
I don't know, but I think
bosses
there's a fine line though. I think you can promote yourself and be like it, but I feel like there's a lot of flash.
Are you not flashing?
Well,
I'm
Dan,
not flashing
you got to understand what gets people's attention. And I mean, that's really what it's about, is getting their attention, man.
Yeah, is it real though? Meaning, like, are you
What's
really
real?
Are you really believing that they have the private jet or the?
So it's like a realtor, right? I want to do some kind of marketing that's going to allow me to get my foot in the door with you. Because once I get my foot in the door with you and I come to your house, you meet me, I'm a real person, I have a family, I know I'm talking about and genuine. Now you're sold, man.
Now that's a sales tactic.
Well, either way, he's doing what he needs to with the type of audience, like she said.
And there is a lot of people that are marketing and they're online and they're not doing what they no.
Listen, I'm not saying, but there is.
Completely agree with you. But I see nothing wrong with promoting what you've done and successes, because it does bring in and it does depend on your market. But I mean, think about it. Think about even an aesthetic company, right? They do lip injections. Look, we fixed these lips. We dissolved. We did this. That is them like showing off.
Yeah, but does it cross into a line of people want to be envied?
Well,
right? Because look, you could sell yourself. And you know what? If I was on there and I was an expert in my craft, I'm sitting here saying, you know what? Boom, I got these guidelines. I got this. I got this. I got this. But hold on. But at the same time, it said, you know what? Now I'm going to go even further, because now I want people to not respect me, but look up to me and envy me a little bit.
I would say envy is the wrong word. I would say look up to. That's the point. That's the point of building an expertise. That is the point of being a leader, is you do want people to respect you and what you do and look up to you.
I think what Dan's saying, I think I understand it. Whatever you may do, you have a successful client, successful whatever, and you promote that to market your business, which is exactly what you should do. But I think what your point is there motivation that, it's more of a big hot head thing?
I think it has nothing more or nothing other to do with branding. Well, I would say it's just not your type of branding and your type of marketing, so don't buy it. Well, people like you and I don't buy that stuff, but there's plenty of people that do.
What I would say is, when you're promoting that, take a hard look at yourself. Are you doing this for your own egotistical purposes? Or are you trying to grow your business?
Right. Like,
I guarantee he's growing his business by doing it.
Right. Well, I don't know. Everybody's different. I do see I've seen that.
It's called 10 times.
I've seen idiot
Did
attorneys.
you buy it, Brett?
For yours, I've seen this happens in the attorney world all the time. You have these partners with all this experience, which sure they do, and they never utilize their assets. Attorneys are terrible about that, and the assets are their associate attorneys, the entry level people, right? They simply want this person to do things exactly the way they would do it, and whether you one's a secretary, right? And they do not draw upon the knowledge that person and the different perspectives that person has to help construct a product. Now, if that person has a big ego head too, well, then that's the same thing.
Right.
But attorneys are terrible at utilizing.
Well, and that's a part of, even like I was talking about, my ideal client. What I love is one that they're open to, okay, here's where I'm at in my business. I have a team. We're starting to build. Okay, so now how do we make sure that they're amazing leaders, and then we're also developing the people and their open communication? Because you're exactly right. If you're going to bring on a team, the whole point of having team is that you can't be the best at everything. You don't want that.
Hire your weaknesses.
Right, and so be able to take exactly, like you have a secretary that, you know what, maybe they do know more about this. Like, stop with your structure. If you want to go to the next level, you have to do things differently.
I was an executive assistant,
Hey, throw that executive in there. I love that.
Executive assistant for 10 years to put my then husband through MBA school. So yeah, absolutely. So,
I want to say one thing about what Joe said too, is that you got attorneys and even lenders, even realtors, they put those plaques or those little things that says, we got all these awards and stuff like that. is that really true? Like, do you really have those awards? Like, did you like? And also,
What do you mean?
Well, like they throw out like, oh, I've done, I'm on the top list of
Rookie
realtors,
of the year.
yeah, for like 7 years in a row for whatever.
Vegas is best.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, but all that
what is
stuff's
the-
dumb. You could
right.
pretty much buying that.
But people
Yeah.
look at that and say, oh, he's like, maybe he knows what he's doing because he threw that out there. It's
Well,
just a sales tactic.
maybe
right?
it is. Yeah, but it is marketing.
Yeah.
right?
So Bret Jenny voted the best realtor in Las Vegas by me. I don't need to say by me. I can just
But
say.
I mean, do you
what I
market
mean?
that way? That's the reason I'm bringing this up. You market like that?
I mean, me personally, no.
But people, do you tell?
but people do.
Do you tell people to market like that? Because you.
No, well, here's the thing. If it's authentic and it's real, then yeah. Yeah, of course. If you like legitimately are top 10 realtor in town, absolutely.
Like
market that
I
crap.
can market.
right?
I'm a crypto
And
certified realtor because I
that's
am.
the thing is that, and people don't understand when you start a business or you start and you go independent, it's okay to actually just be where you're at. It's okay to say, I'm not the best in town, but you show people the journey. And you're going to grow with it. You just have to, I mean, all of us have to be willing to like crawl and then walk. And so, but putting out there a bunch of BS, I don't do lies.
We got to keep moving. We got to keep moving. Okay, so we're running out of time, but I want to say this. So, obviously, you're a business consultant, and people seek you out from talking on the show. Like, how would somebody benefit from you? Like, what do they need to do to get in front of you or get a hold of you?
So they can get a hold of me, 702-445-9473. I feel like
but
say that
you're on
super
social
fast.
media a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get there. So I'm also on Facebook, Shannon Miller. Super easy. I'm like the fiery redhead. You can't miss my picture.
Her beautiful thing.
And then on Instagram, Shan, SHANN Miller LV. And then I'm also on LinkedIn, so you can message me on those, and then obviously on my email and all that stuff.
I mean, I
is
brought that up
connected.
because we're going to have your contact information in the comment section, but
Good.
we're not going to have all your social media stuff. So if somebody,
Why? It's
well,
so
just
good.
we don't have enough room. You know what I mean? So,
She has, yeah.
but
I got
I
all
mean, you
the
got your
things.
number. So let's keep
Yeah.
moving. I want to
just
say,
everything.
okay, so Shannon will have all the information. If you guys want to get a hold of Shannon, thank you. We know a little bit more about you, Shannon. Let's talk about real estate. Brett, go ahead.
Real estate.
And also Corin. I want Corin to give her take. So we know in the real estate world, it's still multiple offer scenarios. You have a lot of insight on what's going on. Where's prices at today, and what are you dealing with out there? Because I want stories. I want people to understand what they're going through.
Competitive.
Very competitive, yes.
I
Very
mean-
competitive. I mean, if you can waive those contingencies, waive it. If you're contingent selling a property before you buy it, just like don't even bring it. Just
There's
sell
another
it,
real.
go rent an Airbnb, stay there for a while.
100%.
Seriously, you can't do it.
There's
Can't
another
do it.
realtor I know at my office that has like 40 pre-approvals for buyers below 500,000,
Oh,
and he
not
can't even
happening.
he can't even take them out.
No.
because they can't get anything.
There's nothing.
Think about
It's
that.
really tough. It's
Same
really
thing with me.
tough.
I've got 5 buyers below 500, and I can't find them anything. We're not even going out.
Well, honestly, I have some.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
And it's not so much like even the multiple offers or something like that, just the lack of inventory.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I picked up this weekend from 700 to $1.2 million buyers, and there's nothing out there for
I
them
know.
that they want.
I told you I had that 1.2 to 2.5 cash
Yeah.
in Summerlin.
Yeah.
Still
There's
2
nothing-
months, nothing. We've seen one property.
Yeah, there's
That's
nothing
it.
out
There's
there for them.
literally
It's-
nothing.
It's
And if
very
it
low.
does, people are coming in a couple $100,000 over.
So let's
on a 1.5, dude. It's
let's
crazy.
talk about this. So there's obviously some challenges. Now, what are
obviously some challenges?
what are some people are doing to overcome them? Because some people are getting into homes.
Yeah,
I don't want us to
absolutely.
say it doesn't happen.
The number one thing I think,
Yep.
great question, Dan. The number one thing is before you write that offer, call the listing agent.
Yep.
How can my buyers get their offer accepted? Okay, here's what my sellers want. Blah, blah, blah. So can
And-
you do that? No, I got an offer that can do that. Can you do that? No? Okay, well then.
Especially
Don't waste
in
your
a
time.
market like this,
Yeah.
if you've been in this game for a minute, it's always pays to play nice in the sandbox for this reason specifically.
Oh, there's that
Oh, this
word.
listing agent, and I did so-and-so deal with them. They're cool as hell. Hey, remember me? Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes at the end of the day, you've got 5 offers that are exactly the same. They're going to suggest or want to pull towards the one that they know they've worked with and is super cool.
It's because
You know,
sometimes
pull that extra card if you need to. Sometimes
the more the battle, I will be nice if I have to. Fine.
Wait till we
But
close. I'll be back to being a bitch.
It really is. It's like, man, can this
You just-
agent
yeah.
make my life a little easier? Are we both on the same team? Do we have the same goals?
Yep.
You know, so
Absolutely.
I think likability is a big deal, right?
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're likable and you've done pretty much, you represented yourself pretty well in real estate. That's going to make the difference. As you're saying,
That's what I'm saying, man.
make or break.
Always play well nice in the sandbox. 'cause
Relationship is everything. The connecting thing that I talked about.
Yep.
That's all me building relationships.
you
with
never
people.
know, man.
You
When
never
things
know.
and in this town, you do enough deals, and it's a small enough circle still for the people who produce. And you run into the same people around,
Yeah,
and you never know
it's
when you're going to
true.
see them again. That's
It's
all I'm
true.
saying. Play nice in the sandbox.
Your customers are not computers.
right?
Yeah, imagine
absolutely,
that.
yeah.
Right.
Imagine that.
I am nice until I'm forced to not be nice. So I don't
Well,
start
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
I
You
don't
get
start
mean?
it. I know.
I'm the same way.
People can get Corinne. You don't look like you say
Yeah.
the F word.
No. Trust me, Corinne can
Corinne can
duke
say the
it
F
out with the
word.
boys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, let me say this though. So there's times in my life where I've been working with somebody and they decided they didn't want to work with me. Doesn't matter, real estate financing, whatever it is. They decided that, you know what, I'm not going to work with you, Dan.
I decided that, but you keep on having me come back.
Right.
Sorry.
So I have to pull you in by your ear. So anyways,
Your hairs.
right. So the thing is though, is you just don't know, and maybe it's in the same thing for you as in your business, is that person might know somebody. You always treat them with respect, and it's
Absolutely.
like at the end of the day, like you're not going to get paid on everybody. You're not going to be able to win over everybody.
Right.
But the lasting impression that party or that person has of you is going to have a lasting reflection if you get future business.
Absolute reputation's everything.
It is, and I think that's what you're trying to say,
Being nice costs nothing, Dan.
right? What about you? So you feel the same way, Corinne? Is that what you or Corinne's over
Corinne
here like saying
disagrees.
"F you"?
I'm glad. Yeah.
It's
No,
like, did you
know
just see
what?
my middle
She's
finger?
She's Jekyll and Hyde.
I'm not.
I'm
No,
just
really.
kidding.
Honestly, just I'm professional. I'm firm. I think people expect me to be a little fluffier, maybe. I don't know.
You know what I like about you, Corinne, is you're
Oh,
like me.
God.
You're right to the point.
I am right
There's
to the point.
no
There's
bullshit.
yeah.
Hey, dude, this is the way it is.
Well, I like
It
what
is what
Dan
it
was
is.
saying though, because essentially you're saying, not every person is going to be a transaction,
No.
right? But here's the thing: you keep good relationships with
Yeah.
people, and it may not be them, but it may be their friend or
Yeah.
their sister or their brother. They're like, "Hey, you need to call so and
Yeah.
so; they'll take care
I
of you."
can't tell you how many deals I've got from people that I
Yeah.
took out and it didn't work out for one thing or another, or they ended up moving. But I was friendly with them. I treat them well. And a year later, all of a sudden I get a call from, hey, so-and-so, and
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
walk them
that
into a new
works.
home and boom.
All right, let's talk about crypto. You got some things.
Crypto.
Crypto. That's look at Brett's eyes. Just
He got so
wow.
excited.
Kid in a crypto store.
Look at this
He
guy.
was-
Kid at crypto store,
put
man.
his glasses
We're going
on.
to talk
I
about
know.
today.
He's like,
So
wait a
So
second.
let's talk about the obvious and Canada, eh?
Ooh,
And what their president's doing there.
what is he doing?
So they had the trucker convoy, which was blocking, not to get politics involved because, but it's the point being is, so a bunch of truckers in Canada blocked the entrance going into the United States
Holy moly.
and Canada so that goods can't be transported in between.
Wow.
Because the president of Canada basically said, you have to get vaccinated to all the truckers.
Whoa.
And they're saying, we're not getting vaccinated. And so they basically staged this protest and it took over, it's been sitting there for like a week, shutting all these things down. So Canada's president comes in and basically went to all the banks and said, any bank account that has any money to do with these truckers, you need to freeze immediately. And we're going to go after their crypto. We're going to go after their crypto exchanges of where they have their Bitcoin, and we're going to freeze all their Bitcoin too.
What?
So everybody, I was just talking to my dad on the way here, and my dad's like 72. He doesn't know, and
Well,
he's
listen,
like,
listen.
the government. I said, here's the difference: is the government of Canada was able to do that because most people, when they have their Bitcoin or their crypto, they keep it on an exchange. So here's the best way I can explain it. When you have your crypto, it's like an email. Your Bitcoin is like an email. The only way to access your Bitcoin is to have the password to your email. When you put it on an exchange, you're essentially giving the exchange your password to your Bitcoin. So the government can go right to an exchange and freeze all of your stuff because
Take
it's
your
technically
assets.
not yours. But if you put it on a ledger wallet on yourself, the only person that knows your password is you. Therefore, nobody can hack it or take it, including the government.
It's just interesting they're using the tactic of freezing or
Wow.
something
It's absolutely
with cryptocurrency.
But this is my whole point of the relevance of Bitcoin. A government can come in at will. Whether you decide or or don't agree with them doesn't matter.
Right.
What
If they
matters
do
is
it.
this is a non-violent protest that they've been doing. The government can come in and freeze your bank account and freeze your that's the thing with
they're
Bitcoin
clearly-
that you don't store an exchange that you have for your own Bitcoin. They can't do anything. That means you can still pay your bills. You can, all these different
and
things.
it
Just keep it
also-
off the exchange. Yeah.
It also
Yeah,
shows
keep it off
that
the exchange.
They see it as currency now, right? Like
Yes.
now they're actually. I mean,
Right.
think about it. To go after your crypto. I mean, that means now governments are looking at it because usually they would just freeze the bank account, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually really interesting.
So that's what I'm saying is
Well,
now
me-
they're doing that.
Me and
Go ahead.
Brett can debate that on a later day.
What?
but
I'm trying to bring up.
well,
I
what was
disagree. They see it as currency. I think they just see it as a commodity, and they could freeze your stock exchange in the same way.
That's the point.
Right.
Whether you think it's a currency or you think it's a store of value or you think it's shit and it's worth nothing, it doesn't matter. The point being is the government can come in at will
Right.
and freeze up a valuable asset of yours because they disagree with you.
That's
Right.
crazy.
That's insane, dude.
Canadians.
That's why Bitcoin.
Wow.
That's the point of Bitcoin.
So how
I
long is it
got
gonna
you.
be?
I
I got your
even
point.
more than this.
Don't get me wrong. I got your point for sure.
how long until they're going to start
He's so
printing
fired
crypto?
up.
Yes.
Printing.
Yeah, it's called Tether.
When are they going to start overinflating crypto?
It's
I'm just
determined by
playing.
consumers, man. That's why it's gone from nothing to the price it is.
Yeah.
Because why?
Right.
Because people make it worth it.
Well, listen, that's good information,
Yeah.
and it's good. Like, we're going to also talk a little bit more about this, but we're going to put a quick plug.
We'll talk
gonna-
more about it on when we have our Cripple podcast.
Yeah, we're going to start doing Thursday Finance Day. So if anybody wants to take a look at that, but let's go ahead and talk with Corin. Corin, you had something to say about a topic, right? What was it you were going to talk about? Go ahead.
Which one? No, I really, during my open house, I had these two new agents come visit, stop by. They weren't with my brokerage, but we hit it off really great. And they were just licensed. They were preparing themselves. And
Aw, how cute.
I know. So it brought me back to when I was
all
a new
nice and
agent.
naive and everything.
I know. Isn't it cute? They're
Aw,
so
so
excited.
cute
Hey,
at that young age.
I still get excited about that.
Yeah.
But it really, the lesson, the reminder for me and for any new agent or new business or whatever is always be prepared. Like Google it or whatever, or prepare yourself to be prepared. We cannot, as entrepreneurs, we cannot have the excuse anymore of, I didn't know. I'm just going to show up. Here's my grandmother. If DJ Mark, if y'all, the Filipinos listening right now, my Lola, my grandmother used to have this saying. Well, it's a Filipino saying, but I'm not going to.
I know what it is. It's salamat.
It is. It's not salam. That's thank you. But it's something like my grandmother was an entrepreneur. If you came to her job site unprepared, you just show up, you have nothing to contribute. Basically, loosely translated, it's like, oh, look, welcome. You brought your penis. Isn't that nice? Meaning that is all you have to contribute, to bring to the table, literally, as like, man, my
You
grandma
describe
be
like
all over
99%
you.
of men.
Exactly. It's like,
I just have my
wow.
penis, that's about it.
They're on
Thank you
to
so
me.
much. You brought your penis. That we're so blessed to have you here. It's
Aren't
like,
you guys yeah.
like my grandmother didn't have Google or internet.
That's
Go
funny.
Google some stuff. It's like
Oh, you brought your penis.
new agent came up because I didn't know. I didn't know I was supposed to bring flyers to the open house or blah blah blah. It's like, right now, girl, you are killing my vibe.
They showed up to the open house with you?
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
You know
I
what?
love her to death, but at the
They
end of the
didn't know
day,
that- wow.
at the end of the open house, I coached her after
That's the
counting
thing.
to 10.
You know what? Talk about consulting. That right there. You know what that
exactly.
means? If she's a new agent and doesn't know those things, you know what that represents? The fact that she doesn't have leadership that actually is training her. So it's not actually her fault because
It's not. It wasn't
how would
her
you
fault.
know?
It wasn't her
So I
fault.
said
How
the
would you
Dan
know?
Lujan
This is
comes
why.
into play.
This is where I come
But we
into play.
practiced, and at the end of the open house, she had up to She had $3 million buyers, a pipeline of $3 million buyers right there. So
You just don't show up and put out a
you just
contract and
don't
say
show
sign
up
here?
with your penis. No.
Oh, I thought that's how
I thought
homes
you
were
did a
sold.
I think she just likes to say penis.
I know.
Let's be honest.
Dan said I could say penis. So
She's
Well,
going
listen.
for
Got
it.
his
She's going for it on the
As we used to
podcast.
say, you just
Penis,
need to-
penis, Peter Peepers.
I want that sound bite. Can you record that?
Yeah, I'll
sound bite?
mushroom stamp
All
it.
right, thank you.
Oh my God.
That's for my Filipino viewers right now.
Now we're getting some.
Let's talk with Joe over here. Joe,
some stamp.
How does somebody get a hold of you, buddy? Like, and first off, you had some things happening this last week, right?
Had some things happening?
Yeah. Did you have something going on with your job or anything happening this week that you have some stories?
Yeah, I always have things going on with my job.
He had to sue some more people.
Joe said he had a couple of stories he wanted to talk about, so I was like, oh, okay. Did you have something going on?
But we out of time? Or you
No,
wanna...
I got you. I need you 2 more minutes.
Go ahead, man.
All right, I'll try to be as quick as possible here. So, I mean, I could do a whole bunch of stories, but one thing that keeps repeating, this has been happening my entire career, is you get potential clients or inquiries of people, and they'll always talk about this bulldog attorney. You guys heard this term, right?
No.
Bulldog
I feel like
attorney?
it's so common. Like,
Yeah, I've
you're
heard
going to be
that.
a bulldog.
I've heard it.
Yeah.
I forgot it in law
I've heard
school.
Yeah.
Right, and this, in my experience, is a fabrication that's been created by pop culture dramatizing the legal world, and then other attorneys capitalizing that dramatization, advertising about being the bulldog, meaning being aggressive and whatnot. And we're talking about being nice to people. I don't practice that way, period, because it doesn't do anything for you. It can only potentially help if you successfully intimidate somebody who really doesn't know what they're doing. But it's ridiculous. Let me give an example, a story,
Yes.
if you will. Year or so after getting my license, I was working for a small firm, and we had a client, old elderly client, and they always said that, like, be a bulldog, be a bulldog. They were elderly, 80s, 90s, and they had this business they had for 50 years. 20 years prior, they had hired a manager to come in and basically help with the management. And long story short, eventually in that 20-year period, he kind of forced his way into ownership and control this company. This company made aluminum castings for offshore drilling rigs, right? And he basically kind of shut them out. They got pissed. That's when they hired their firm to basically sue him, take back control. And really, their first claims, I came in later in the case, weren't really that viable. But through the process, I discovered that manager I was talking about, what they had to do was take in a piece of aluminum, whatever, cast, and have it tested by a certified testing company to make sure it met specifications. And they either certify or they don't. What we discovered was this manager, the defendant, was had a scheme with the testing company where he was basically paying them off to say that things were certified when actually he never sent the aluminum. Now, you find that out from our game over, right? Because you expose the company to extreme amount of liability. So we had them square peg. Now, I was with a small firm. The defendant hired a massive firm, big partner suits or whatever. And the both partners, a lady and a man that I was dealing with, are unpleasant. And they would always scream at you about everything. Just really aggressive bulldog, right? And I remember specifically because at that point, I offered them a nominal amount because we weren't going to recover anything from them, just to go away, give up ownership, get out.
Yeah.
And he gets on the phone for about 20 minutes, just spewing blah, blah, blah.
Who does the other attorney?
Yeah, this big, bulldog.
Bulldog attorney.
Partner. And he starts spewing a whole bunch of stuff about, I have all this experience, what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. You're an idiot,
familiar. We
like
get that
cursing at you, blah, blah, blah. And I go,
They
okay.
swear at you?
Yeah, all the time.
That wasn't me.
And so at the end of that
I'd be
conversation,
showing up at his office.
I go, yeah, so again, the offer is what it is. You keep this down this road, it's gone, and we'll just go crush you in trial.
Yeah.
And they agreed. Here's the point. When you're dealing with business or attorney, right, you win by methodically explaining your position, and I do it very calm and respectfully, and saying these are the repercussions calmly because this is what it is, and I crush everybody by simply doing that. If they are trying to take the bulldog mentality, either they don't have a case and they know it, or they're being lazy and not digging into their case.
Yeah.
Either way, bulldog singles to me, I have the upper hand. What a good opponent is somebody who does what I do, tears it apart and comes at you reasonably, and now I've got a tough opponent. So anytime you hear bulldog or somebody talking about being a bulldog, getting bulldog, that should be a red flag into you that
I'm gonna call you, Joe.
Well, it's just a real thing. This misconception.
I know
there's
one
no
thing.
Jerry Maguire.
I'm a powerhouse attorney.
Listen, from my
65
knowledge,
with my
and it's not a lot of knowledge, but I think dragons do take over bulldogs, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Dragons
You breathe
I
fire
don't
on
need
that
to
shit.
yell. Exactly.
You know what I'm
Breathe
saying?
fire. Like
Breathe
bark,
fire on
bark,
'em.
bark, bark.
That's
What's
right.
your
They bark, you breathe
He
fire.
said bark, bark,
What's
bark.
your,
bark,
what's
you
your
breathe
slogan,
fire.
man? Do you have like something like a
I
hey,
like that.
call me, I'm fire
I've played scorching the competition. Or
I spit. How about this? I spit fire like a dragon. I'm Joe Dragon.
You know why he's like
the dragon?
Dragon Law Firm coming in hot. Coming in hot.
I coined the term about that. But anyhow, you get a hold of me, dragonlawgroup.com. And just type
so
in
you really take this in like a competition, though, don't you? Like when you come in, it's like, you know what? You kind of pop the collar and you're just like, okay, let me size this person up. Whoever it is, woman or I got to see what my competition. And then it's like competition, right?
Well, as far as the other side, that's what I'm saying. Like the person itself doesn't matter. What matters is the case and how well they are presenting that case.
I see.
That's the competition. And if
but you don't get like I'm going to size this person up by look or by like demeanor of that person.
Not really. I size them up of how they communicate with me.
Really?
How they communicate with me. Like
I see.
What they're saying in their emails.
Then he knows what to work with and how to handle it.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. They do Bulldog. I've had them scream at me and I'm going to get disbarred, blah, 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 blah. And all that does is like fresh meat.
It triggers you.
Fresh meat.
It's a trigger.
Right? Yeah, they think they're having this impression on me and they're having the exact negative opposite.
Yeah.
You're calm, respectful, and I'm like, okay, I really need to check this out and really move methodically.
You guys have anything else? We got to end the show. Joe,
No,
you got anything
man.
else?
No.
All right.
Great
Love
show,
the poncho,
girl.
man. Love
Thank
you guys coming on. So listen, this is the most real behind-the-scenes information regarding financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs going on in Las Vegas. I do want to say this. We're going to have everybody's contact information
Sure.
in the show on the comment section. We don't really need to go across the room anymore and say, hey, this is what we are. Everybody knows who we are at this point. But I do want to say thank you guys. You guys are making the show. Give us 3 more. We just need 3 more to make 300. You know, 3 more subs. We're trying to get to 1,000. Help us out, guys. We'll see you on Saturday. And thank you for watching.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye.
Thank you, Shannon, Bret. Dragon.
Thanks, dudes.
Thank you for watching the French Workbench podcast. You can find us here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. to find out all the information on real estate and financing here in Las Vegas. Also, check us out on our LV Home Professionals website. You can find your future home there, a lot of good information, and you can find us on audio-only options through SoundCloud and iTunes.